while we've been talking about the profiteering, there's also the people factor. And Angela, I wanted to ask you about your evaluation so far of the relief programs that have been rolled out. The NDP caucus has fought for an emergency benefit that would go to everybody. We've had to fight the Liberals all the way along, but it's not universal, but it has gone to help many people. We fought for additional benefits for seniors. We fought for supports for students. What is your evaluation of the supports that have been put in place so far, and where are the holes and the gaps? If we're trying to come through this pandemic with nobody left behind, what are the things that we need to be continuing to work on to fix these gaps so that nobody's left behind?
Thank you. I really, I think it's been amazing the work that NDP staffers and various MPs have done, both answering specific questions that people have and trying to get answers. You know, we had workers that had been seasonal workers last summer and hadn't exhausted their EI claims and went back to work, and they were put on EI right away and told they couldn't access the CERB now. And so, which would have significantly disadvantaged them compared to other workers. And so there are all these little cracks like that we're seeing people fall into. So you're seeing, because of the way they set up the rules, if you didn't earn exactly $5,000 last year, but you were laid off, if you were a student, but you graduated in November instead of January, if you were a migrant worker who was laid off and you're stuck in Canada, but your SIN has now been deactivated, how do you live? What are you supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
So there were just all of these tiny cracks that I don't think even necessarily got a whole bunch of attention in the broader media or coverage of it, that the NDP and NDP MPs were absolutely crucial in making sure they got fixed. So one of the fixes is that the deactivated social insurance numbers can now be used to access the CERB. So there are people who were even in between different immigration statuses, right, when this happened, that were left out that will now get covered. Even getting the student benefit. But I would say that over and over again, the people who were left out were the lowest income, the most vulnerable, people with disabilities, students who had been working part-time, international students who were supporting families and didn't have access to any of that help. And what that does, or even cash workers, so workers that work through temp agencies that get paid through cash, through pay, whatever those places are, cash money places.
Payday loan places,
that get paid in cash through payday loan places that may not be able to prove they had the money or the hours, that were more likely to be pressured into coming into work sick and in awful conditions, right? So what that does is it created a class of workers who absolutely needed to go to work and were more vulnerable to the virus because of that. And so we saw this over and over and over again, and workers that were so financially insecure that they couldn't say no to their employer, and they couldn't be sure that when they said, no, I don't think this workplace is safe, that anyone would back them up. And so we've seen workers die because of this in long-term care homes, at Cargill, and it's really upsetting. And if we had had the enforcement of labor law and employment standards that were in place before, if we had the financial security, if workers knew that they had that financial security and could have said no to the unsafe work, there would be people that would still be alive right now, that would be with us right now. And so that's tragic. And it's tragic that we've created this incredibly vulnerable workforce. And my thanks go to everyone. I know Fight for 15 and the Workers Action Center are doing a lot of work around this as well, and getting victories for those workers that really need it.